The main event was probably not the best in terms of a marketing perspective and getting more of Gen Pop to be into it. But there was a lot of good technical work from Islam and a lot of things that leave you scratching your head. What was Jack planning, and what was keeping him from doing it? Now, obviously, the calf kicks were a factor. That was really good game planning from Islam. Jack's striking style involves a lot of level changing. If you have a guy that's going to the body a lot, inherently there's going to be a little bit more basing down of the stance. And when the stance is based down, if you guys have not peeped the work on the Patreon regarding the calf kick, where we talk specifically about how to get their weight distribution to open up calf kick opportunities, I highly suggest you guys go check that out. It will be linked below, but patreon.com/boring breakdowns, if you'd like to peep it. All the work on Yuki Yoza and the calf kick game is very applicable in terms of JDM and Islam. Now, when you are level changing or when you are looking to go to the body, it's very difficult to pick up your lead leg to check that calf kick. Islam did good work on this, and perhaps this was what led to the less than stellar performance from JDM on the feet. He just could not get much activity going. But I really want to talk about the work on the ground. The system that Islam has played on the ground is really genius, and to this day I don't think we've really seen people with significant enough answers to be able to deal with it. JDM did a really good job fighting off the cross faces. Gordon Ryan has some incredible work dealing with cross faces and how to strip them, because especially in MMA, this is something that needs to be addressed if you are looking to not get smashed like JDM did for 5 rounds. Now, the system that Islam uses is a mix between a far side underhook and pinning his head on top of that underhook. And if you are able to get out of that far side underhook or turn in, the crossface on that near side is sitting there waiting for you to basically rip your face off with that near side arm. Now, if you get past all of that and you're able to sit up and come up to your side to start building up your base, whether to get to a dog fight position or to get to your knees and kind of have that front headlock fight, that stage of the system is where we're going to start seeing Islam throwing in the darces. Generally, if you're able to get past all of that work, whether it's uh, Islam's, I don't want to say first line, because all of these kind of, uh, uh, it's not like there's a first stage, second stage, third stage. He transitions quite a bit between all of them. But let's say, to make it simple, if you're able to get past his underhook and that head pinned on that underhook where he's giving you short shots with that potential cross face arm, then he has that cross face waiting for you if your head is going to turn into it. If you're able to strip that crossface off, or if you're able to just bull up against that crossface, that's when he's going to go over the top, the back of your head to start looking for the chokes. So all of these together make it really, really difficult. In addition, by the way, to kind of camping inside of your hip and making sure that pressure stays down. And if you guys watched the work that I put out on the feed, you guys would see that Islam was fighting to keep Jack inside the half guard. Now, when you're in the half guard, your hip is partially kind of trapped underneath their hip, and that's going to make getting up even more difficult as well. Uh, all of this together makes it a real problem for getting up, and we saw Jack didn't have too terribly much answer for that. I wonder who would have an answer, and also I wonder who would have an answer to being able to get their striking going. It sure is a shame. I believe Michael Morales is a little heavy, and I'd like to see him prove himself a little bit more. But it seems to be that the striking level of even high level strikers has to drop a little bit just because of that takedown threat. So who knows? What do you guys think? Is there anyone that you know that at this point at in the weight class that can give Islam any sort of issues? Let's see. One of the dumb things that JDM did, and if you guys watched the pre-fight live that I did on Instagram, by the way, also streaming live to YouTube. So if you guys are on YouTube, go ahead and check that out when we go live. I talked about how JDM uses sometimes he'll do it from the Harai Goshi attempt. I believe it's a Harai Goshi attempt, that whizzer and kick in front of the legs. Or sometimes he'll do it from a sit up from an octopus guard where he throws that leg over top of the opponent's back. I don't think it's ever once worked out for him where he's able to get up from that. And perhaps it's that Craig Jones influence rubbing off, but unfortunately for JDM, he's not Craig Jones, and this is not sport jiu-jitsu. And we saw him look for that after that whizzer kick attempt, and it wound up getting him on bottom in a completely inverted position on the cage. If you are to go for things like a Harai attempt or like an octopus type get up, perhaps it's a little safer in MMA to start just building your base back up to your knees and then trying to scramble for top position from there, as opposed to trying to kick that leg and step it all the way over, because you're inherently in a poor balanced position. And obviously, as we saw last night, it was very easy for Islam to just kind of shuck him over top and take that top position. As far as the co-main event, Valentina and Zhang, obviously strength was a huge issue. You saw when Valentina got an underhook, she was able to simply bull Zhang back against the cage or take her down, whatever it may be. The issue with Zhang's style is someone like Valentina, and she almost freezes a little bit. I did a seminar with Joe Nottawut, and someone asked him what did it feel like going against Giorgio Petrosyan, and Joe said many of his past opponents, they will stay moving in their stance, keeping their hands up, moving the head, etc. Giorgio Petrosyan just kept his hands here and froze. No movement at all. And Joe actually said that freaked him out a little bit more, because you expect movement from an opponent. Valentina has a similar style at times where she just freezes in front of you. And we saw in the very beginning of the first round, Zhang made Valentina go first and did a really good job countering with the right hand. And then that was pretty much it as far as the strategy. After that, it was just Zhang trying to reach in. On the outside, she was getting pieced up with the middle kicks. Didn't have too much of an answer for it. Obviously, Valentina is incredibly athletic, very strong, very fast. But someone like that is, you got to make a counter fighter go first. And Zhang just did not have that in the game plan, or at least maybe initially she did, but she just was not able to stick with that. And I think that, along with the athleticism, the strength, the size, etc., made for a pretty easy fight for Valentina. Dariush versus Sandini. The new meta is, when somebody gets a plum, don't even address the knees. Just start hitting them. Just start boxing. We saw this a lot, actually, from JDM. And I can't remember if Beneil had a full plum or he just had one collar tie. Regardless, same principle was at play. Sandini just started boxing around those collar ties, and I believe it was the right hook that dropped Beneil. Now, I will say this: I think he's still at Kings. they spar super hard. So has his button gotten pressed too many times to the point where he's just going to go down really easy? Who knows? Um, Michael Morales and Carlos Prates. This is something where there was a little bit of variation in terms of how it how it went down. But guys, understand that your lead arm coming up when you're in a defensive pattern doesn't automatically mean you're safe. You have to address the distance first. And also, if you guys are defaulting to a lean back, which I don't believe Leon leaned back necessarily, he was more traditional long guard, but having too much faith in your lead arm and not having an active rear glove to defend. So let's talk about Leon first. So uh, Prates did a great job. Uh, Carlos essentially feinted a hook uh, around that lead extended arm, and when he threw his left, I believe, was actually vertical and went right in front of Leon's rear guard in that long guard posture and dropped him. Um, and this is a really cool detail, guys, because this is much wider and has a tendency of getting caught up in the opponent's gloves, whereas this one here can as you can see, it's this wide versus this wide, and that vertical fist can sneak right through in front of the rear guarding glove, and uh, because Leon was not on point with that range, and because he just had way too much faith in the lead arm of the long guard, that rear arm was not active enough, and he got clipped beautifully. Sean, um, if you watch his past fights, he tends to reactively go to throwing. I believe it's throwing a left hook. In addition to this, uh, the the pullback. So if you guys, there's, by the way, nothing I am saying is gospel. This is all situational, but this is what coaches do. They're looking at your habits. They're trying to uh, uh, glean or gleam. Is it an N or an M? Comment below. I'm not quite sure, but I've been saying with an N, as in Nancy. They be gleaning, they glean insights from these types of defensive patterns. So you better make sure that you're in a good position, because your habits are your habits. So you either have to address the habits or make sure that you have reinforcements should they be able to take advantage of one of those habits. One of the habits of Sean Brady is to pull back and pull that head back instinctively and then throw up that lead arm, usually in that lead hook posture. That doesn't necessarily mean you're safe. And that right hand from Morales came right over top of that lead hook and dropped and rocked him and eventually dropped Brady. So guys, just be mindful. Just because you have that lead arm extended does not mean you are safe. Please be mindful of that. Understand. Uh, you have to make sure you're addressing your distance. You have to make sure both arms are active and are able to defend. There are questions on Michael Morales. Um, I would like to see him be able to do things like this against higher opposition. Now, one thing that I really like that he did was his hip posture. So he's kind of sticking his butt back. That makes it quite difficult for the shot. And in addition to that, he's a real long, like taller, long-reaching athlete, and so that's going to make it difficult for the takedowns. However, uh, let's let's say a Michael Morales game plan of hips back uh, in order to defend the takedown were to go up against an Islam strategy versus JDM. JDM tended to squat down with the level changes more, but this has the exact same effect. Whether you're sticking your butt back in order to avoid a takedown, or squat down so you can get to the body, or squat down so you can defend takedowns, what is the exact same common trend in this? Your lead leg is going to get heavy. So, how does Michael Morales fare against a good wrestler who can also punish that lead calf if you have a heavy lead leg? Who knows? We'll have to see what's up. Guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment it below. And I'm going to ask it again. Who do you think is there for Islam? Who do you think Michael Morales should see next? He's got great momentum. What is he, 19-0 now? And I think he's still quite young. So, who would you guys like to see next? Also, fight of the night, in my opinion, was Ethan Ewing and what is that? Moneymaker or Hallmaker? What is his name? Malcolm Wellmaker. Malcolm Wellmaker. 2 days notice. Ethan Ewing takes this fight and handles business. In my opinion, possibly the most technical performance of the night. Level changing, rolling underneath the counter shots, understanding when to stick and immediately pull back to make a Wellmaker overcommit. Just so much good work. I may put that out for the Patreon members. Patreon.com/boring breakdowns. You guys can peep it in the link below. Best way to support the work. If not, all good. Liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Also, there's some free options on the Patreon as well. Guys, thank you all so much. I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.